Three, two, one.
Man, welcome to another episode of Real Shit Let's Talk Part.
I wanna see your camera.
So you need.
Your camera's right here.
Uh,
Yeah. Like you can talk to the middle camera, but
yeah.
that should be like if and or that. Your cam, Rich cam. Ready?
I got you. Hold on. Let me do it. Take it. Take it.
Take two.
All right, got you.
Three, two, one.
Welcome to another episode of Real Shit Let's Talk Podcast. Man, today, this is the real treat, right? Man, he go by the name Rich, but I call him Rich Dollars. You know what I'm saying? He's always making money moves. He's always giving you something to like think about. And then, so his podcast is Attractive Mindset, right? Mm-hmm. Man, listen, Rich, tell us, man. Talk to us. Give us some mindset and goals, mindset and things, and tell us what it is that you do, man.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Moneybag Rich at Real Moneybag Rich, also known as Mastermind Rich. And, you know, just like he said, we got the Attractive Mindset podcast. We're over 150 episodes in less than 2 years. And so just really grinding it out, working it out. It's all about mindset, pushing the limits, and going plus ultra if you watch anime.
Anime, man. Listen, a lot of people referencing like anime. Why?
Anime honestly teaches you different life lessons because it's different from a lot of TV shows and movies. Like the structure of what happens internationally with people is way different than what happens in America. And so most of the TV shows and stuff we watch is around like pointless violence and, you know, whatever and stuff to get you adrenaline pumped in the moment. But anime is storyline based, and so they create a character that you fall in love with, that you grow with, that you watch evolve to a different level. And if it's like an isekai, they have versions of it where it's like you can put yourself in that character's shoes because they're making real life decisions. Yes, an anime, but if you take the anime aspect out of it for a second and you really just put yourself in that shoes, like, yo, this person's having a moral battle mentally. What would happen if they chose to go left instead of go right?
Dang. Okay. So then it's basically mindset. So when you go to mindset, you pretty much put yourself in that character, like you said. But now let me ask you this: you prior military, did your mindset shift after the military, or shifted while you was really in the military?
My mindset shifted today. My mindset is always shifting, and that's how you have to be. It's about adaptability. You know, it's about always getting to the next level, and it's not about chasing the next level, but it's always getting to the next level. And what that means is understanding that there's levels to get to that you're not at yet, and that's a chase that, you know, a process that you'll have your entire life. And so you learning things, you interacting with people, you picking things up, you expanding your knowledge is always an ongoing process. And so I had a certain base before the military, which I learned and evolved. And then after the military, I learned and evolved. And right now I'm still learning and evolving.
So now starting at like step ground zero, what is some helpful things that helped you get to that level, and while you're at that level, maintain the growth?
Consistency. We live in an era where too many people have access to too much things up front. And so being able to really get into something and do it for a long time without reaping upfront benefits. This podcast, what, Dan, our first 60 episodes? Free. But we were paying rent. We were paying all type of stuff. We were paying equipment. We bought all of that stuff before we even made profit. And the first 60, free. Because that's how it had to be. We had to make a name for ourselves. We had to get out there first. And so in order to do that, it requires an investment in yourself. Can you invest in yourself when you don't see anything happening? That's the real story that it comes to people. And people think their long time is long time because they've never dealt with the amount of time that they've had to spend doing something for so long. But it gets longer. It gets deeper. Like, you know, somebody's 1 year might be your 3 year. Somebody's 3 year might be your 5. And so you can't base somebody else's success off of, damn, this person went crazy in the first month. This person went crazy in the first year. person went crazy in their first whatever. It's your level of consistency based off of your execution actions. You know, just like Jay-Z said, I can tell you what I did last year, every single thing.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, they do something for a long time, but what else are you executing with it? Just doing something and doing it for an extended period of time doesn't really bring success. It brings a level of, hey, you did it. Now what?
Mm. So I think when you say that, what's very important is that the now, right? It's what are we doing to push that needle? And as you said before, when it comes to this podcast and stuff, again, it's time, effort, consistency, and dedication. That's just the way I go about it, because I know that like many people, just like out there in La La Land, they would think that, hey, I can just pick up a mic and we just start talking. And then, hey, we got a podcast. No, it's a process. And when they forget the process, they forget the purpose of why they're doing it. And so when you say mindset, I'm gonna go back to this anime. I'm gonna have to check it out, because it seems like this is the second or third time I heard about it, just to see, catch a little bit of it. I can't sit there for hours, because I like to read more than I watch TV. So if I read more, it just like TV is just kind of like it'd be disappointing sometimes. But I can see why people like anime, and given the vision and the storyline of what you're saying, I look at it as, how can I make this applicable to my life, my situations, my issues, or things that I need help with? Or better yet, frame of mind is, how do you ask for help without looking desperate, without looking lost or confused? And I said mentorship worked. Definitely good. Shout out Brendan Boyd, Nehemiah Davis, and David Shands. They all fire. You know what I'm saying? Even I heard about your masterminds, and that went real crazy. So I was like, you know what? I said it the other day. I need to throw something. I need to throw a webinar, something, because get more eyes and get more views on different things, and understand how to leverage more of my podcast. Like I said before, like as we were talking, a previous episode that really didn't, for me, it was rushed, but that was one of my top podcasts. It was like I say, a person showed up late, but they bought the VIP package, and they, like I said, 43K. Come on now, views. 3,000 new subscribers. I could use 3,000. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking like great minds think alike, but I also think too that understanding now more of watching the business structure of it, how it's supposed to go. I think that's where I'm at right now. I need to figure out more of the business, more of how, like, I'll look at yours and I say, Rich did this. Okay. I need to do something like that. I need to not necessarily copy or duplicate what you do, but find out what is in my niche market to get more of my target audience. And I think too that one of the biggest things is networking. You gotta network. That's the biggest thing, I would say. What would you think?
So there's a few things that you brought up that definitely caught my attention, and I want to go back real quick to how to ask for help without looking desperate, or like you're struggling and everything. What's wrong with that? That's the point of asking help. And so we have this misconception of, I don't want to look too crazy. I don't want people to judge me. I don't want this and that. But you need help, and that's when the most genuine help is offered to you, is when you are real with yourself. It's when you're not real with yourself that people don't know how deep you need it, or how real you need it, because you come across as, well, he'll be okay, or oh, it'll be fine, or yeah, he might need some help, but it's not that much, But you got to look at things like GoFundMe. Why do people donate to GoFundMes? Because people explain their situation. People literally have a cry for help. Charities, all of that stuff. These are historic things that we have to watch, and so this is what we call market research. And market research still applies to our personal business. how to have the art of a conversation with somebody. If you're going to go sell a VIP package, if you're going to go sell a whatever, how can I relate that person that, hey, this is something that means a lot to me and I'm not just trying to give you a price. And so most people focus on what they can offer instead of what they can provide. And there's a big difference between those two, offering something and providing something. And it's that difference that happens through the art of conversation.
I like that. That's like, I'm gonna turn my head backwards on that one. Shoot, I like that one. That was like, that's one of those things where, like, I look at it and I tell myself, the art of having a conversation is easy when you're genuine and when you're authentic, right? I had to tell a person the other day, if I made $10,000 a month, I wouldn't wear the latest fashion. I don't have a lot of Dior or anything of that nature. So I still go to Walmart, get my little tees. I still rock my brand, and that's it. Call it a day, And they was like, no, you won't. And I was like, do you see what I have right now? These are all assets. And so I'm learning more and more people are watching when you are, or should I say, are looking and watching when you don't even think that there's nobody's watching. 100%. And some of the likes and some of the comments on my YouTube, some of those things of that nature is just like, I'm like, wow, some people really watch this? They really seen this? I mean, I know it's good, but then you don't know it's good until you get that view of, or that comment. And I don't care, like I'll tell everybody, like I'm walking in Walmart, I stop somebody, hey, listen, you listen to podcasts? And it's like, nah, not really. Hey, this the one you want to listen to. Okay, how do I do it? Boom, that's it. When the Publix, man, I got the meat deli guy, the truck guy off the lifting the pallets and stuff. I was like, he's like, oh man, I want to tap in. Boom. I was like, okay, cool. I feel like for me, the biggest thing is the art of hustle, right? But not so much in the skill of the offer, which is the art of sale. So what I've been learning is looking at a little bit of Myron Golden and stuff like that and seeing some arts of sale, because people will actually buy your offer if they believe in it.
I don't like Myron Golden.
I like that. I can dig that. Let's dig into it. Why not?
I don't know, and I feel like most people in this world would want people to have a reason for something, and I just don't. He makes a lot of money.
Facts.
He talks a lot of good things, but something about him, just not my type of person. That don't mean I hate him or anything like that.
Right.
I got no detest towards him, but I don't like him. I would never deal with him.
I can see that. I mean, I can see it because I've noticed that with that comment, people, I'd say this, when people rise to a certain level, they begin to get a certain disconnect from, and I'll just use this, from our demographics, right?
I think what the disconnect between me and him is, our missions are so different that he doesn't appeal to me. You can't talk about helping people and charge the hell out of people, because then you would have to know market research. Market research signifies on SSA.gov. It's a real website. You can go look it up. As of last year, September 23, which is literally last month, so a year and 1 month ago, the average demographic for our skin color in the United States makes $40,600.
Right.
And for his coaching program, the big one or whatever, is like, what, 100,000 or something like that?
Yeah.
And so we would never afford that to that level. Are there people that do? Absolutely. But you can't attach a certain level of help to that price amount. It's unrealistic for the everyday person. And so you can't say, hey, I'm here to help the everyday person, because he's not. That's just a straight fact. He's here to help the people who help themselves. Yeah, I've heard it all. It comes. But at the same time, there's levels of help, and my mission is to help the people that don't understand they need help. And so that's where I feel like, all right, well, I'm not aligned with this guy. So he makes a lot of money. He speaks a lot of good stuff. that's cool. He's going to have people that follow him. He's going to have his own, whatever. He's doing great. I'm happy for his success. I wish more for it. But we over here.
I like this. So basically, I understand where you're coming from. I understand your standpoint. I think more people, well, I'm not going to say I know that more people would love like that, what you just said. It's like how to ask for help without asking or seeming desperate or knowing the key points of where you need help with, right? It's like, I'm going to start here at step one. I feel like what we do is what I had to learn early on with the podcast, because I got intimidated by it. Because, like you said, it's expensive. The money that it costs for the equipment, the time that you have to spend, it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? You still got to pay for it. You still got to make up for it. So, what I've learned, it took me last year, July, the end of July. Like, I already had the name before, but I wasn't like, I took it serious as far as to the LLC, the trademark, the DUNS number, different things of that nature. But I was like, I got intimidated because you do see all these people that do make all this money, or the people that get these crazy podcast deals. And you'd be like, what are they going to talk about? Or speakers. If you're a public speaker, shout out to you. I look to be one day, but I don't care to.
You are a public speaker.
I like that. I don't care to, like you said before, astronomical like prices where it's, hey, listen, the highest package is $20,000, and then trickle down like that, because for some reason the numbers that I see most of the time is 97, 197, 397, and 597, right? And it's just always the gray area of it's almost $100, it's almost $400. You get what I'm saying? And they keep growing like that, and every year just repeats the same cycle. Or somebody new comes up, and then it's like, hey, they rise to fame, and you'll be like, what? I never heard of this.
Numerology is definitely a big thing, and it's real. And so when they play around with numbers like that, it definitely has a reason to it. But what I will say, to just double down on why you're a public speaker, is you have 14 episodes out. And this is the thought process, because I'll challenge anybody at mindset. I went to school a little bit for arts, but also psychology. And so I have the degree for both.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, cool. I do my research. I read more psychology stuff. I do all of that, and then bringing it into my field to make it make sense with business psychology, right?
Right.
And so what is your mission with what you speak? And so is it to just get on a stage, or do you create your stage? Is it to get on somebody else's stage, or do you have your own stage? And so if you have your own stage, you're a public speaker. And you're getting paid for it. It may not be monetary. People have to understand that compensation comes in different forms.
Right.
And it comes in different facets. It comes in different amounts. It comes in different times. And so my mission with the podcast, which is why we have done a lot of free episodes, quote unquote, in the early days, is I want to provide something for one person. That's it.
Okay.
Can I reach one? And this is the power of 1%. This is compound interest we're talking about.
I remember that.
Can I reach one? Okay, cool. Hey, one person watched my video today that I don't know. Maybe they watched the full thing. Maybe they watched 5 minutes. Maybe they watched 10 minutes. Maybe they didn't. Cool. Next episode, can we reach another one? The only time I consider it a loss is if I have 0 views, because it didn't help anybody.
Right. So to add on that, or piggyback off of that, I look at it, my method of that, or ideology on that, is reach one, teach one. Right. I learned that very early on, through like masonry and church and different things of that nature. Reach one, teach one, or in school. Like, we don't have that 1% of the confidence, the authority, or the compound interest of the way the world works for people of color, people of any ethnicity. So when I look at that reach one, teach one, it's I don't know it all, but I'm willing to go and do my homework about it. And when I heard about, like, say, your military experience and different things, and when you joined, and then different other things that have transitioned throughout that, I was like, he's the 1% that people would listen to, or that people would not like stop and give a full interview, because you could dial in and say, yo, this was effed up, this didn't go right, but I kept on this narrow path. I saw the light, but while everything around me was darkness. You know what I'm saying? Or if you are leading your family, you know, to that next level, you're still that 1% as a black man, as any man in general. And so I look at that, for me, is where authenticity meets center stage. We can talk about whatever, we can, you know, communicate or controverse or debate about anything, but the topics that I choose to stay from is politics and religion. We can talk about them, but those are the things that people want. You know what I'm saying? And I always look at what the people want, but I also say, you know what? If you want to be authentic, I'm cool with it. It's gonna work. And when I, like I said, the episodes that have dropped, when I get that 1 view or when I get 5 views, I'm as happy as if I didn't get no views. Let me tell you why. The only reason why I'm happy if I got no views is because there's something that I need to study and research to do better for the next one. Like, I'm always hungry to level up one. And then I turn around and I'll repurpose it or reuse it in like a reel or something like that. And there it goes. It's like, but that's you said, mindset. So I'm like, it's gonna get there. I don't know how it's gonna happen. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen. So when something now, like, cause I did care about views. That's one thing that in this podcast world that you look at, you be like, dang, I care about the views. I want somebody to look at it. Please look at it, you know. But I've learned to not beg, and honestly not seem desperate about a view. It's either you're gonna like it or you're not. And like I said, when I did the Teresa Songbird, like when she said she wants people to you know, hear her words, her poetry, and get the like full interest of what it is that she's talking about. But she's dialing into the color people, black excellence. And so when a person saw that clip, they was like, oh, I'm going to tap into my whiteness. Okay. Like, because you commented. I like that. And I always tell people, I keep people with the laughter of jokes, and it's with, I say this, whether you like the podcast or not, I don't care if you tell me it was terrible. Guess what?
You watched it.
You watched it. So as long as you watched it, oh, I'm good. I'm tapped in. And I learned that it's not so much of views. And because I always thought quantity first. That was my mindset going into podcasting. I needed this. I needed that. I needed this. I needed that. And it became overwhelmed. It became financially hard. And then I was like, but these people on this stage, and they talking about, yo, when I was at Burger King working this time, and or when I used to shovel shit, and I did this for 13 years, and then I jumped, and now I'm here. And it's like, the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, you like, what shit was you shoveling? Because when you were shoveling shit, I was pushing snow. Something. You know what I'm saying? But you hear about those moments, and it's not to knock them down or tear them down from what they were doing or where they've been. It's to say that, you know what? We not alike. And I get, that's where I feel like you get the disconnect with you and Myron Golden. The thing that I do find similarities, and this is where it comes in, business.
Yeah.
Here's the strategy to how to structure a business to make profit versus I'm going to charge this astronomical price
100%.
and you're going to still get the benefits, but over, as you said, Myron Golden, it's going to be 50,000, 300,000 or whatever.
And it's a deeper mission than just finances, because I don't think Myron Golden would want to be a Black Panther, but I would. And And so
like that.
our mental morality is different on how we're willing to deal with things. I don't know, the backstory of how Myron Golden grew up, but I do know my history and how I grew up in certain aspects. And I'm a field guy. I've always been a field guy. I was in the trenches. I was out there. I've been shot. I've been stabbed. I have actual wounds. You know what I mean? Like, I can go outside and mesh well with the streets. I can bring hood people to have a good conversation,
Right.
to have a, more articulate conversation, because think about what a drug dealer is. A drug dealer is doing things for a business. Grams, weighing things out, understanding numbers, understanding longevity, quantity, mass, volume, all of that stuff, production, chain of command, all of it is there. They're doing it on the wrong side of the fence. And oftentimes it's because that's what's mostly presented. Cool. We don't knock nobody for that. But at the end of the tunnel, the question that has to be asked, and it's why I even joined the military, is because I didn't want to join the military, and I've said it every interview. Didn't want to join the military. I was homeless, and they offered me a $3,000 bonus. A homeless, broke kid that needed money because he didn't have money to eat and do all of that. Oh, I got to do this, and I get free housing. I get 3 free meals a day, and you giving me a bonus to sign up? Done deal. Signed it for $3,000 only because they asked. Now, imagine a business person that came to me on a different level and said, yo, you can own this. You can do this and this and this and this, and I'm going to show you how. Military came and showed me how. Okay. And so that was one of the moments where my mindset started to evolve, is it turned from, I don't know how I'm going to make it, because I have faith. But at the same time, faith without works is dead. That's a quote that people know, but they don't really dive deep into what that quote means. And so if you say, man, I'm waking up today and I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to do it, that means your plan is not strong enough. That means you're not executing on the level that you should. I know exactly how I'm going to do it. This is the plan on how we're going to do it. And we double down, we triple down. And if that's not working, we need another plan.
So one thing that I like, what you said, is that doubling down, right? So I like this, one of my episodes, shout out to Miss Tiffany Heron. She said there is no plan B. There's only plan A. Yep. Plan A has to work. And I was like a little finicky about it, but I looked at it and I said, I got kids. So they look up to me in a way that is far beyond my imagination or what I'm sought to believe what they believe. And then when I started doing it, it was this one time, right? Took them school shopping or just summer shopping. That was what it was. And I handed my credit card. And back in the day when you didn't have that much on that card, and you was like, I can only spend $100, so I can only spend $1,000. And if I spend $1,000, that's $1,000 I got to pay back. But I gave it so gracefully to them. I said, hey, it's for you. And they paid a good little fair price. And I didn't flinch. I knew right then and there that money was not as important as the quality time with my kids or being able to provide more, even though in my backpack or in my brain, I was like, that's a pretty price. I've already paid that bill. I got it, but that's a pretty price. And it felt good. It felt like I said, because I stopped thinking at that moment about money and how monetary, the money was making me live less than just being above the stigma of, hey, money makes you happiness, money does this, money does that. I started looking at it. Money allows you the accessibility and the access to do extracurricular activities as well as provide for your family. These are the necessities that is going to get you to either level up or it's going to set you back. And so when I had that mind shift, I could buy anything. I don't need it. but I can buy it if I want it. And so I always say one of my things is if I want it, I'm gonna go get it. And I like to say when I did a job out there in California, when what it was, what's that thing? COVID. And a burger, like I still don't eat beef or pork, but at that time, just like a chicken sandwich was like $13 in California. $13 for a basic chicken sandwich.
Waxing.
So then you're like, and I'm like, man, I'm real hungry. I can go to the grocery store, gas station, and get a bag of chips. $7 for a bag of chips. So then I had to change. That's why I said that shift about money. I said, if I'm hungry, I'm going to eat regardless. I don't care how I got to. It might be off the dollar menu, but I'll stack it up. Hey, it's $3 worth of a meal. Hey, this is going to carry me X, Y, and Z. Then I started practicing intermittent fasting. I started learning what I put into my body. I've been about almost 10 years, no beef, no pork.
Wow.
So my mindset was like, okay, I can't eat from the fruit of the land as much. Nah, I'm not going to go to no jungle and be like, yo, I'm about to try these berries and like that. But I'll eat in portions or I'll eat one big, but I'll practice on not eating or fasting for a short period of time post-workout. Now, if I work out, I got to do a dog some food. You know what I'm saying? I'm a soul food type of guy.
Okay.
So, I was like, I get some soul food. But I have to say, I'm getting into Dominican food now.
Dominican food, where's that?
Listen, I just had some the other day, bro, and I'm telling you, like, it changed my palate to being open to other cultures' food and how they live within their means with the necessities of basic food, but they make it look so freaking good, man. Like, say, those empanadas at your grand opening.
Yeah.
Listen.
The cost price and the taste value.
Like, and that's what I said, the value of money, right? When I started looking at that, I was like, dang, I'm not really worried about the money. But then now I know that I have to work on the process of producing more because now
you have to work on the process of struggling more. Right now, and again, transparency is how you attract what you're trying to put out there. Right now, I'm struggling. 100% struggling. Not to the point of I'm going to be on the street,
right,
but I'm struggling at a higher level. Like, I'm bringing in 30, 40 a month. I'm spending 50. I'm in the red. Right. Can most people do that? Absolutely not. But that's what puts you in a sense of struggle. Now, is it meaningless struggle? Am I out going popping bottles and doing all of that? No. But this had to come up. I went into this with 2 business partners that left the first 2 weeks. Show still got to go on. Shit still got to get paid for.
Right.
This shit is not flooded with people coming in and out yet. Will it get there? Because yes, this is the plan A. Absolutely. This is the double down. This is the triple down. Hey, we gonna flood it out. But time still has to make its time. And for a certain time, you got to struggle longer. You got to struggle harder. If I don't put myself in this scenario, you never grow. If you don't put yourself in a precarious situation that's gonna change your life, your life's not gonna change. And people make too many little incremental jumps like, okay, I spent a little money here, but you ain't spend nothing that's going to make you hurt at the end of the day. Like, oh, shit, this is what the fuck I just spent on here. That was me with this. Maxed out everything that I had to just dump it in because guess what? We still paying for other company bills. We still paying for shit in Virginia. I'm still paying for shit in New York. And now I'm paying for this too. And so it's like that doesn't stop. The show keeps going and it's causing that higher level of struggle, but that higher level of struggle causes the higher level of success. You got to look at stories like Timbaland. Timbaland went broke. We're talking about Timbaland. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, slept on his mom's couch in the house he bought his mom and had to do that for almost a year. Now he's back on Twitch and he said, I make $85,000 in the Twitch stream or something or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's certain levels of struggle that you have to go through in doing certain things. Like if you only, damn, it's going to hurt me a little bit, but whatever, you might get a little bit of success. You playing with your own level of progression. And that's why throw 10 at it. Throw 20 at it. No, I don't fucking have it. But it don't matter because we're going to get it back. And that's the law of attraction. People half step on their law of attractions, and that's all mental. What you think about starts to become your reality. If you think about things on a smaller scale,
right,
how is it possible that it's going to triple and quadruple and whatever these numbers? Manifestation. People love talking about manifestation nowadays. You can't manifest properly without executing to a certain degree. The chant is only piece of it.
I get that. But it's like, I think too, lack of motivation, right?
Fuck the motivation.
So that right. I put that on my story the other day. Yes, I get it. But the motivation, which is like the scenario or the thing I like to use is fire in your ass or fire under your ass, right? It's what would you do with the money or with the success or with whatever it is that you're trying to climb that ladder with versus only having two tools to do it with, right? Which you said, mental, right? And belief. Those are the only two tools that you have to attract the same like mindset or to attract that 1% that's saying, you know what, man, I got my mind and I got belief.
But the people that you attract don't come to you as 1% usually.
Facts.
And that's where you come in.
Okay.
It's your conversion rate.
Right.
And this is why the art of the conversation becomes so enriching. Of those free people that we invited, Dan, that came and shot free, would you say I converted like what, half? Yeah. It happened after. Didn't happen before.
Right.
And so you had to bring them into your world in order to convert. Like, hey, cool, I'll take the risk. I'll take it all to show you I'm not playing. Right. To show you that it's real. Then after you get to see my personality, after you get to see my mindset, after we talk, hey, let's revisit this. Yo, this is what we can do for you. This is not what we're offering you. This is what we can do for you. This is what we're leveraging. This is what we're providing.
Right.
And this is how we push that out. And that happens because you start to, when you make a structure, and it's something that I teach with the coaching, the first thing that you need for a structure, think about things like fire festival or pyramid schemes or anything like that. How do they make money?
Playing off of other people, like when they invite somebody else and then like that.
Forget all of that. That's the tactics. It's one core thing.
Consistency?
Nope.
Help me out there.
Belief. They got somebody else to believe in what they were giving out.
Facts.
That's it. You don't need them to spend money yet. You don't need them to do whatever yet. If I come up to you and I tell you something that you now believe, and this is how religion works, this is how a lot of things work. You are born into it because your parents are Democrat. Your parents were this and that. That might change later when you start to believe other things, but the level of belief that you're given is how you usually come into certain situations. And that's how mindset is truly developed. And so we need to understand how to cultivate belief in us. How do I get that person over there to believe in me?
Right.
Because that's what leads to the sale. That's what leads to the closing. That's what leads to mass execution, is getting them to believe what I'm saying is right, is real, is cost effective. It makes sense. Because if you can't get somebody else to believe that, they're not paying. So it don't matter if it's $2, $5, $10, 100,000, whatever. They're not doing it if they don't believe in it.
All right. So belief, would you say value as well?
Nope.
Okay, so you wouldn't say value. And the only reason why I say the values, right, is because like I've created a 21-day accountability challenge workbook, right, for 21 days to structure discipline, changing habits. It's for entrepreneurs. It's for small business people that need or lack accountability of holding themselves accountable. So out of that, I'd say 23 copies sold. I would say 10 of them took it serious, right? I'm happy with that. Not good numbers in the sense of if you look at it, like say, with the money or that. but the value of what I packed inside that 21 days. Easily, I'm watching and I've learned from different people who through masterminds and different things of that nature. It's like little tidbits from that, and it's like, yo, I get the right, like I said, the right percent of people who need it, or why does it hold value as what I believe is because of X, Y, and Z. So that's why I asked you value, because sometimes people have to see the value within that person, value within that product, value within that service, right? And so the number one thing that I see online or just in general is product, service. Those two things. Then piggybacking off what you said, belief though, right? So I feel like that all goes together, because you have the belief of what you do. You have the product, if it's a product you're selling, or service. They have to believe that, and then the belief after that has a certain value, which could lead to more people looking for more knowledge. And I think the thirst for knowledge is less or devalued now because, quote unquote, a lot of people like the Gen Zs, the Gen X, and whatever case may be, are structured on the TV and the video games.
I disagree.
I get what you're saying. Watch this though. If it's not 100%, nothing in life is ever 100%. So I won't say 100%. Okay. But I'll say a good majority. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because being in a broken home, becoming from a broken home, or leading into a broken home, whatever the case may be, whatever the demographics is, some percentage of that comes down to where it's like the games teach you things that you shouldn't even be doing. Like Grand Theft Auto. It's a fun game. Enjoyed it. But I can just run around killing people. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. But to the curious mindset of saying, oh, I can do that. I'm going to go do that too. Or putting value on, shoot, I'm a gangster and I do this X, Y, and Z. I'm going to be just like that. That's why I say this. There's a small percentage. It's not 100%, but just a little good percentage of that gets the misconception, and not to say the more positive things. I thought that.
Well, this is where psychology comes in.
Okay, go ahead.
I disagree with that as well.
Okay, let's go.
Why I disagree with that is because you're not going to ever know what somebody's amygdala looks like, right? So the amygdala is in the back of your head, right? Processing that type of emotion is an emotional intelligence. And so serial killers, people that, do the violent crimes and all of that, have an 18% smaller amygdala. And so this is something they're born with. That person ends up, and this is where variables come in factor. If that person plays Grand Theft Auto, they are more likely to think that way than the person who has a normal sized, whatever that means, amygdala, simply off of the sizes of their amygdala. It's the only difference. How they process information becomes the difference, not the circumstance. Because if two people from a broken home, from a whatever situation, from the hood, do this, and they play that game, one person has a smaller amygdala, one person doesn't, that person is more likely to do it based off of just scientific fact. Now, what I will say to that is the development of humans is, we all weren't supposed to be 1% anyway. And I just told this to somebody the other day because they were like, yo, I tell every girl or guy that I walk up to, hey king, hey queen, hey this, hey that. I said, that's not how our society's set up. You can't do that because you create a false sense of entitlement in people that don't need it. And that's just facts. I'm not here to be the hero or the villain. Mind you, I said Black Panther, but I'm not here to save everybody at all. I want people to understand that message. It'll be a different type of that vibe. I'm here to provide something for people to have another level of themselves, but I'm not here to enforce that on people. And that's the main difference, is people try to enforce something on people that certain people don't need shit enforced on them. And it comes from a lack of self-development, because the hustler has to die in order for the CEO to grow. And so a lot of the situations that I'm dealing with right now, and I could easily solve by hustling. Oh, I know how to operate these cameras just like Dan. I go out, I start shooting, I do this, I do that, I do whatever. I diminish my CEO title, not by pride, but by action. Because now I'm folding. I'm not sticking to my plan A. My plan A is to lead Dan, lead Oliver, lead Sims, lead Zania, lead Murr, lead 50-something people in ROV. If I now become one of them, not to say they're in a bad spot, but I'm the CEO for a reason, right?
Right.
I fold on my plan. Everybody's value goes down. The entire company. Everybody at the same time, because now I put myself on that level. Why? To make quicker money? Because I couldn't figure out how to lead better. And so most people avoid that development. And it's like, okay, cool. Hard times breed things like that because they try to run from the issues that need fixing the most.
Right.
I got to fix how to lead them better, how to help them make more money so we make more money, how to set up a better structure, how to do this, how to do that. And that is not the instant stuff.
Right.
And so it's quick for somebody to be like, oh, I'm going to just go run this play real quick, or I'm going to go hustle, or be a multi-hyphenated entrepreneur. I do this, and that. You look crazy. You could do a lot of things all you want, but you can't stop. And I'll even challenge Neo, him 500, all of them. And I've had conversations with them. I fuck with them. We're cool. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because guess what? They can't stop. Regardless of how much money they make, look at their lifestyle. They will tell you they can't stop. Why do you see every week they're pushing webinars, they're pushing programs, they're pushing coaching, they're pushing this, they're pushing that, they're pushing setups, they're pushing events? They have to. They've created their brand around themselves, which is not bad. They have investments now, I'm sure. They have real estate, they have stock, whatever. It'll get to the point where they can stop. But for the lifestyle they live right now, they can't. They're a slave to their own company. And that's not something that I want it to be. Right now, even in my struggling state, if I stopped everything and paying for the extra shit, I live. I never have to leave my house. Everything is paid for. Everything. Every single thing is paid for. I never have to leave again. I could leave the country. And it'll be fine. Is it a ridiculous amount of money? Absolutely not. But it's money that even if I die, even if I shoot another podcast, if I travel the world for whatever, I'd still make it.
Now, is that the mindset, or that's just how you structured yourself as a CEO?
It's both. Because in order to structure myself in that position, we had to create the structure for it. And that's what comes company transcending. That's what comes, okay, cool. You have to think about things like Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates. Bill Gates got fired from his own company, Microsoft. Mm-hmm. How is that man still a multi-billionaire? Because he created something that didn't need him. That is the true essence of business. We live in a day and age where most people want to become the business themselves. They want to become the name for their business. Attractive mindset will live beyond me.
Facts.
I happen to host the show right now because it needs somebody to start it off. It needs a host. Sure.
Right.
But that's something that already in my plans to get out of that seat. I don't want to do another 150 episodes. I don't want to do another 100 episodes, but I do want to provide the message. How can I still provide the message without me physically providing the message?
I like that.
That's how we build.
I like that, how you build. And so that's some of the key points, too, that I would like to learn, because it's on one end, your struggles honestly become your success.
100%.
Right? So when that happens, it's like I had to crawl before I walk. And now that I'm on another level, like you said before, like I've run a business before, but I didn't have all the key components because I was spending countless money on this. I needed this, I needed that, I needed this, I needed that. But this time around, as I slowed things down, I actually excelled more than I did before. And so I'm learning. It's like mentorship does help. I'll definitely say that. At that same token, it's something that I always tell myself. I'm gonna take a shot in the dark at that dartboard, and I'm going to hit bullseye every time. And the reason being is because I have to. I don't have a choice. I just have to look at it as, okay, hey, I'm blindfolded. Boom, I hit my target.
So there's two things. I hate the analogy you use. I got to crawl before you walk. Hate that. That analogy in itself doesn't make sense. Every time somebody uses it, I'm like, why?
Well, I thought, okay, then I'll even give you a better one. You have to start at the bottom before you get to the top.
Hate that too.
Okay, but it is true though, right?
No, it's not.
Okay, so here's where I fit it in my train of thought, and this could be what's hindering or what needs to change in order to level up to bigger and whatever more. So I say you start at the bottom. Okay, we're born into this world, right? Boom. Okay, we go to school. Some go into the military, do their thing, but now those are different levels. You started at birth, like, hey, your mom, your dad, or if you didn't have a mom and dad, whatever. Boom, that's at the bottom. Hold on, because you're not a CEO of a business or company. You are not trendsetting any examples of anything as a baby, right?
You're not, but some people do.
So you're saying like the baby boomers? Is that what you're trying to say?
Baby boomers is a generation.
Right.
I'm talking about the kids who have trust funds. Trust fund babies. Those are real people.
Okay. But
trust fund babies do not start at our bottom.
Okay. So then that's why you say the analogy
100%
between is not okay. So then
and then when you crawl before you walk, it doesn't apply to us as adults. No adult should ever say that, because if I want to get up and walk right now, I can, right?
Facts.
I thought about it. My body moves on motor actions, whatever. If I wanted to run, if I wanted to jump, if I wanted to lay down, I could do that. A baby cannot. And so you have to think of yourself when you're crawling, when you're walking. Even when you said, yeah, I'm blindfolded, I'm throwing a dart in a dart, that doesn't exist either, because why are you blindfolded? You have the choice right now. So why would you choose to be blindfolded?
It's not necessarily choosing to be blindfolded, right? It's just the analogy that fits.
It doesn't fit because you just don't know.
I say that. I mean, I can agree. Let's say we agree to disagree.
Yeah.
But I know that when I take, like I said, right now, if we go out and shooting threes, I would say out of 5 threes, I know my goal is to hit all 5 threes.
Sure.
Now, will I be disappointed if I don't hit any threes? Yeah. I just probably need to work on my shot more. However, the confidence that I'm going, just like how we was playing pool, and you was knocking down your shots, my mindset was already like, this is gonna be a good game. You was boom, hit a shot. Boom, hit a shot. You hit 3 shots, I was like, and I still had 4 balls on the table. But I never let my mind go, I'm finna lose this game. I said,
you still did, but
you had to call that out. Listen, we gonna get that rematch though. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna win that one. But anyways, but what I'm saying is, like, when I looked at the game, I wasn't like disappointed if I lost. It's just a better way, a better position that next time when I do play, hey, now I might need to really lock in.
What if I told you that was the wrong analogy too?
Oh, hold on. I get it. But I'm saying, Dan, don't laugh, Dan. Dan, don't laugh. Dan's like,
Dan know how I get.
Yeah.
And the only reason I say it that way is because you can see, and this is why psychology is beneficial and dangerous at the same time, because you see thought process. And thought process is, you're not the game, you're the system.
Mm.
And so right now you're making analogies to a 2-dimensional thing when you're really 5-dimensional. And I'm thinking from a 5-dimensional standpoint, and I'm like, why are you putting yourself down to 2? Because you'll only see things from a 2-dimensional perspective if you do that. But when you start to think 5-dimensionally, it's like, all right, damn, why the fuck was I doing that? In reality, it really is, because if you're the system,
Right.
imagine you have things that most people never even heard of. A mod chip. I learned about a mod chip. You know what a mod chip is?
Talk about it a little bit more.
I learned about a mod chip when I was like 9 years old. And so we got a system, didn't have that much money. My stepfather, computer nerd.
Mm-hmm.
He was the counter hacker for the bank systems, right? And so this is Blockbuster era. We go there, he's like, man, renting all these games, that ain't it. We're gonna install a mod chip into here, and theoretically it should work. Don't know if it will, but it should work. And so what a mod chip is it copies disk and rewrites and plays data. And so what we would do, and it was a 8.5-hour process, and he made me sit there. I didn't touch much, but I watched him go into this system, rewire the PlayStation, this PlayStation 1, and switch that chip out. So now the system can no longer play games that were regular. They could only play games on a certain type of burnt CD disc. And so what we had to do was go to Blockbuster, rent the game, burn it on a blank disc, and then I could play the game. But that made it so I never had to buy those games flat out. I could just rent them for a cheaper price because we didn't have the money for it. And so thinking 5-dimensionally, oh shit, I have a PlayStation. I got to go buy all of these games if I want to play all of them. That's the 2-dimensional source. Because we didn't know something like a mod chip existed. But in his realm, it did. And so I said all of that to say, to bring it back to our life, we don't know what we don't know. And that's the true answer of ignorance. And so when it's like, okay, well, you can crawl before, I got to crawl before I walk. No, you don't. As an adult, you don't. You can make a educated decision. A baby has to. Because a baby cannot make an educated decision. They haven't developed that yet.
Right.
We have. And so if we choose to crawl, that's a choice. If we choose to shoot something blindfolded, that's a choice. Unless somebody has a gun to your head, you should never have the choice of shooting something blindfolded. That sounds crazy. It sounds wild.
I like
Does
this.
it not? Does it not?
To a certain extent, it does. You know what I'm saying? As I said again, agree to disagree, right? It's like, again, back to what we're talking about, the pool. If, like, say, watching you, okay, cool. You hit sinking your shots. I knew in my head that I have, let's say, 50-50 chances of winning, 50-50 chances of losing. But in my mindset, if I'm thinking about losing, that's when you make the most mistakes. That's just my theoretical thought process from when I look at something. It's like I said before, when I came to do the interview here with SBS and stuff like that, my mindset was I was already struggling before he even came on thing, but I had generated enough just for that one day to the grand opening. I had to go back. I doubled down again, and it was like, somebody was like, hey, I bought your accountability book, 1, boom. Bought your accountability book, 2, boom. Okay, so those 2 sales, I was like, hey, I'm able to go back. I can make it again. Now, it's still a stretch because at the end, that's money lost, but knowledge gained. So that's where I was like, I look at it, I do my best not to look at so much of the negative. And that's why I said shooting a target blindfolded for me is the thought process of me looking at something and saying, you know what? I'm going to bet myself on hitting that target. And so that's why I said, when I use my analogies, I try not to go negative, because I think that a negative mindset, just in general over anything, whether it's relationships, whether it's friendships, whether it's gospel, whatever it is. Negative mindsets leads to a pitfall of pity.
100%.
And that leads to depression. That leads to an addiction to nothing will ever come great from me, or I will never be able to rise to the occasion for the occasion. So that's why I said my mindset is like, okay, I have a 50-50 chance of hitting this, a 50-50 chance of not hitting this, but guess what? I'm going to take that shot anyway. And then I'm okay. I'm comfortable with the result because I'm confident in self.
But
and
the comfortable, see, now I got him. I got him, Dan. I got him.
Here we go.
Positive mindset people still lose.
Facts. 100%. I totally agree with you.
100%.
I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. Like it's like, what's that? Dice, craps, or 7-Eleven.
100%.
I'm running. I might hit a 7. I might hit 11.
But that's when it comes to, and so your analogy is applying things to things that aren't concrete. And so we're talking about basketball shots. Is my arc perfect? How often have I practiced this game? Am I a professional? Can I make the NBA? Am I a coach in this? Whatever. Because those might increase my chances. But again, it still becomes a chance. This is how world-class champion athletes like LeBron still lose rings. Jordan has still lost rings. Ray Allen still lost rings. Steph Curry still lost rings because at some point they still lose. It's a game of chance, depending on who you're going against.
Facts.
Now, this game is not a game of chance because it's not a game.
It's life.
This is a system.
Okay.
How you build your system changes what happens. And that's just a fact. There is no, it might change what happens. It might do that. If you did every single step that Jeff Bezos did, every single way that he did it, which is not humanly possible because he has his life, you have yours.
Facts.
But if you did, you would have the same results, right? How is that possible? Because it's not a chance. It's an actuality. And so we have to look at things for actuality, and structure for business is one of those. Does somebody in my field make $100,000 off of this? Yes. Does somebody in my field make $1 million off of this? Yes. Does somebody in my field make $10 million off of this? Yes. What are they doing? And so copying somebody, copy my entire structure if that's the point that you want to get to. Get as close to it as possible if that's the point you want to get to, because guess what? The closer you get to that level, the better chances of your success. It's not as statistical as a pool game or a basketball shot because you're replicating something that works. You're not creating something that doesn't. And that's what a lot of new entrepreneurs do. They like to get these great business ideas. I have people that come to me with great business ideas, great coaching stuff, whatever. They can't execute it because they can't get out of their own head. They can't let go of, I want to do it this way. Why? You want to be so much like you instead of just providing what you have to increase your base knowledge versus creating something entirely new. Nothing in this world almost at this point is new.
Right.
And so why are you trying to do it with business now? Why are you trying to reinvent the wheel now? Before you got the $1 million, before you have this. In the past 6 years, we've done what? 10 million.
Right.
And I'm still at the point that I'm at.
Fact.
It's all subjective at the end of the day. It's all still like, okay, cool, because I'm pushing the needle. I want to be an innovator, and I understand that. And because I want to be an innovator, I want to create things that haven't been created before. Right. We have season 3 coming up this next week, and we're going on Twitch. I already have my affiliate link on Twitch. We're doing it different. We're doing it live. We're setting up things. We're creating a different environment for what podcasting looks like.
Facts.
But in our first year, we still did 6 figures. First year. And I'd never thought about podcasting before. I never did about that. And that was with 60 free guests. 60 free.
I heard that.
But that's just the attraction that you had to have. I was willing to throw it because it wasn't blindfolded. Cool. That's the board. Who says I have to stand 10 feet away? People like to make rules for themselves. Why am I aiming 10 feet away? I can just go put it in. Right? What's stopping you?
Self.
And that's what people say is like, okay, cool. I have this limitation. I have this rule. We try to compare it to so many other things in our life that we're not conscious of, that we create scenarios that don't exist. And we put barriers on ourselves that shouldn't exist because of how we think. And that's how powerful the subconscious mind is. That's how powerful our conscious mind is, especially when you have them working together. That's Carl Jung. Mm-hmm. That's Daniel Simons. That's Christopher Chambers. That's Elizabeth Loftus. These are all psychology people that dive into the realm of business. You know, that's the thought process that they challenge over and over and over again, because everyday people don't think like that, because we're in a system. The world is the system. You go to school. We didn't go to school at the same time, but guess what on the top of your paper was? Your name, right? Mm-hmm. The date, your class probably.
Right.
How do I know that? Because it's a system, and they put it worldwide.
Facts.
We don't have the choice to go against it in that sense. That's called indoctrination. And so when the world ends up doing the same things, oh yeah, go to school, get a good job, go to college, it becomes easy to replicate the same human being. It's when you start thinking on a higher dimension level that you understand that, yo, life is actually really different than that.
Damn. Well, that was, listen, Dan, why you ain't tell me what I signed up for? Dan just threw his hands up. Man, picking your brain is like a Rubik's Cube. Mm-hmm. So many different parts. Damn. That's all I can say right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I've learned so much in this time that we've actually spent talking, and it's like, damn, his mindset is like far beyond the average person. And the only reason I say average person is because when we look at two ways of podcasting, you've already counted yourself moving away from it, not necessarily giving it up, but hey, if you need me, I might be able to, but hey, this is where I got my other people that are really good, that have already have the leadership or structure that you've built in line, ready to go. Hey, ready to go. Just holler at them and they'll do it, and you'll get a good podcast. You'll get a good thing, man. Listen, I'll say this. Are you ever throwing another masterminds?
I've thought about it. I've strayed away from the coaching and masterminding world because, and it's a cop-out. I'll agree to that. It's a cop-out because it's difficult. It's difficult to cultivate a true mindset versus motivating somebody. And I don't want to be a motivating factor because I'm very good at motivating people. Mm-hmm. But just like you said, you know, hey, 23 people buy the book and 10 actually do something with it. 23 people get coaching and 3 actually do something with it. Those aren't statistics I like. It means great stuff for me because I sell them easily too.
Right.
But I'm not in the world of selling just to get money. I'm past that point in my life to just sell something to sell somebody. I don't want to sell something to sell somebody. I don't care if you want it. I had people buying my $6,000 package. How much time? Just easy. Clockwork. It didn't do whatever. I stopped that. Would I want that now? Absolutely. But am I willing to go backwards just for money? No, right. Because it doesn't align with my principles. And so the masterminding world, it's on a one-on-one basis. It got to be the person that I'm working with. I no longer have it open to the public.
I like that. So basically, it's craftsmanship, basically. It's like you crafting and like molding, like that pottery thing. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't know what it's going to turn out to be until you actually sit down with that one piece of clay and then mold it to whatever structure that you want. And that's with the person. If they want this big higher level of learning or a certain expertise skill, then they'll dial in and focus and then punchline in. Okay.
I want the people that already see the pot they want, not the pot that we create.
I can see that. I can see where that will come in at, because it's not necessarily beneficial for the person that doesn't know the structure of what pot that they want to be in.
They don't even need to know the structure. They just need to have a picture of what that pot looks like.
Okay.
And we got the clay.
I like this. Dan, I keep asking you, man. Dad ain't answer me. Dad ain't say nothing. Dad sat there quiet. He's like, oh, he done opened up a can of whoop ass of information.
I told you from earlier.
Listen.
Hey, it's a different vibe out here now.
Listen, it is definitely, man. It's definitely a different vibe, because, again, you don't know unless you ask. You never know unless you step in the room, and this is why, like, shout out Brendan, because he was like, "You should go. You know, you need to go. You too as well." And because I had a conversation, you know, outside of this, and then I was like, I really don't got this shit. God damn, I don't really fucking want to. I can't go, because it's not that I don't want to go; it's I can't afford to go. But like you said, it was a mindset, right? And like I said, after those 2 sales came through, it was like, oh, okay, God, like, this is my small snippet of religion. God works off of the faith and belief that you have within him, but also you have to dial it within self that he's instilled into you and says, hey, man or woman, boy or girl, you can, you must, and you will. So, and those 3 things. When I left after doing SBS's thing, I was on the highway, and like I said, my mindset, I can, I must, and I will. And when I touched down at the crib, and you know, a few little conversations, 2 sales came through. I knew it was going to come through. I didn't foresee it, because I was coming down just once. But to believe, I prayed on it, and I said, you know what, God, it's got to be something. Why I need to come back? It's got to be a reason, like, not just for the grand opening, but this is a person that says, hey, I don't have to have a room full of 1,000 people. Even if I have 10, it's gonna be a good time. And you want to be a part of this X, Y, and Z. And that's what I thought to myself. And, you know, I went home, you know, deliberated, dialed in, prayed about it. And like I said, when those sales came through, I was like, man, God, you're amazing. Like, I didn't see it when I was here, but it was till I had to be dialing in and focused by myself and be like, hey, God, listen, give me the answer. Show me the way, because now I'm moving at a level that has its hyper speed moments, then it has its like plateau moments. But then now this is that peak or that spike that could put you in the room with either more like people. No. Put you in the room with like-minded people, or count you out. Or if you really want it bad enough, you'll make it happen by any means necessary. That might not, and I don't eat fast food like that, so I'm just gonna use McDonald's. But it's like, you're gonna have to miss out on that McDonald's. You're gonna have to miss out on prize bets or whatever the case may be, because guess what? I'm putting you in position to do this. You said this is what your mission is, or this is what your goal is, and then that goal can always evolve. Like I said, because it's not just levels, but it's where you see yourself at the top or beyond that. So I said, you know what, I'm going. And that's what I say, man. I have to say, like, picking your brain, and listen, Dan set me up. I just want to put that out there. Dan set me up. You know what I'm saying? But I love it, man. I like it. You know what I'm saying?
That's what it all comes down to, is conviction. My last long conversation with God was 2018, September. That's my last long conversation I had with God. 2018 September, when I argued with my mom, and she basically laughed in my face and told me none of my stuff is gonna work. And I asked him to give me the direction of purpose, and I'll figure out the rest. And so there's no need for me to go back to God to, you know, guide me or show me what else I could do. And there was hard times. There was times, remember, Dan, where we were standing in my crib and we watched my account hit 0. Payments due the next day. Payments due next week. Rent due the next day. Rent due next week. 0. And I think we made more money that month than we ever made. But I didn't go back to pray about it. You gave me the direction already. Cool. You showed me the purpose already. There's no need for me to second guess that. Anytime I have a conversation with him now, it's thanks. I pray for thanks. In the hard times, I pray for thanks. Because life is still way better than it used to be. No matter what happens. And that's it.
Damn. Listen. Damn. I keep saying damn a million times. Listen. Y'all listen, man. This has been one of the most mindset shift conversations that Dan, again, shouting out Dan, set me up. But listen, man, attractive mindset, man, on Real Shit Let's Talk podcast is where two podcasts collide, come together. And listen, man, the Real Money Bag Rich, you know what I'm saying, has just gave me such true knowledge that I didn't have before walking into here, man. And like I said, man, again, is there any last words you want to say to this, man, to the people?
Yeah, some last words is really just do it, execute, because the worst thing that can happen is you tried.
Listen, I'm going to add to that. We don't try, just do. You know what I'm saying? Listen, guys, thank y'all for tuning in for another episode of Real Shit Let's Talk podcast, man. Y'all tap in, man. Tap in with attractive mindsets too, guys. Let's see it.
It was a good episode.
You,
Okay.
okay.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's Real Money Bag Rich, and make sure you check out our episode on Real Shit Let's Talk podcast. JR, man, had all the right questions. We battled each other on agreeing to disagree, and we had some good points. We touched on mindset, knowledge, and everything in between, so make sure you tap in.
Listen.